First, I've been thinking about a lot about this stuff and about how things transpired and why we're here, and it always boils back down to the injustices that has been done to us and perpetrated by the colonizers, and trying to make us look like we're the villains, when in reality we're the victims. We're the victims of outstanding abuse that has been happening through their process, due process, but never looking at where's our process, right? Looking, we got families that are growing and growing, and our space to grow is running out just for us to live, let alone build. So this is what I wrote. I am here with my concern of the injunctions being used against our people for standing up for our inherent rights. We as Haudenosaunee are deeply connected to not only the land, but the water and the sky world as well. Our forefathers made it clear when they made a pledge by using wampum to symbolize the two roads traveling side by side in the river of life. It represents the respect these two very different people have while practicing their own laws and customs. We do not view the land as an outside entity of ourselves, but rather believe that the land is a part of our spiritual being, as it provides us with the necessity of life. As women who are the givers of life, we have a responsibility to the faces yet to be born to ensure they have a future. As Ongohoe women, we strongly feel when the courts place injunctions on our people and label us as John Doe and Jane Doe is an insult to add to injury. Our wounds and the many scars we carry from residential schools to 60 Scoop and the missing and murdered women, to name a few, are very real and very much alive today as when it happened. As allies to the Crown, we are opposed to the use of injunctions pushed on developers who are only out to get rich off our ancestral lands that was granted to us by Sir Frederick Haldeman. Therefore, we do not understand when the courts use injunctions against our people, but rather it prevents us from exercising what we know is to be right through oral history. Injunctions directly violates and impedes our ability to fully and freely engage in the treaty relationship we have with the Crown. When the courts issue injunctions in favor of the developers, it gives them the authorization for the police to use excessive force against our people. It goes against the very principle of what the Crown represents, principle of the Crown and what they represent. The protectorate duty sworn by an oath to protect Her Majesty's interest. And I firmly believe there is something here. Before all this, like they talk about pre-Confederation, they talk about all these things, and you talk about Canada, when Canada was formed. We belonged here. We were here first. So how come all of a sudden we're in this little box and everybody else is right and we're wrong? And it's so unfair. It's so unfair because we've suffered from many attacks, and we're still getting attacked with weapons from 1924 when they attacked us and put guns over our heads. And you know, I sit back and I listen to some of those stories on the reserve. Some of these people don't even believe that. Our own people don't even believe it. Why? Because they were never here, and because they believe in a system that's pushed their way through with the help of the Canadian government. And I'm not standing here to say anybody's wrong or anybody's right. It's the fact that it's happened to us. And what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do to correct these wrongdoings that have been done to us? And there are many. I walked in here with the intention of thinking that we're going to be able to get to read something in there to say that in our own defense, I guess. Because they're assuming just because they label Jane Doe and John Doe that we all know what's going on. We don't. I don't. I seen videos that they used in court on our own people, against our own people, and I was totally disgusted. What Schuyler is trying to represent and what they're trying to use back against him to criminalize him. That's just exactly the way that system works. It's like, oh well, Schuyler's doing a good thing because what he's trying to promote is that awareness that there's something wrong. It's not to say that how he does things is right or wrong, because who's to say that it's right or wrong? far as I know, when our ancestors talk and we speak about our own feelings, there are no wrong answers. So now the courts are saying, you're wrong because you roadblocked this road because you're tired of the encroachment. It's not wrong. So I come here with the intentions of listening to what their case is, and also to correct. I end up trying to correct. I end up correcting what they're saying about us. I was very upset, and I spoke up. I spoke up, and to let that system know that I don't understand. I don't understand their system. I don't understand what junctions mean, what junctions are about. I don't understand why they would use the word Jane Doe and John Doe. I don't understand none of that stuff, and yet they're sitting here saying that, oh, well, you guys are criminalized. Criminalized for what? Standing up for our own inherent rights? Well, if that's wrong, then the whole justice system is wrong. Because that was their original instructions, to stay in their boat and implement their own customs and laws, and we were supposed to stay in our canoe and implement our own customs and laws within our own people. We've been violated time after time after time after time, and I guess that's where 1492 comes, the first contact. I don't even know why they called it 1492, but that's what I know. 1492 is first contact. So and then they mentioned the word subject. We're not subjects to the crown, we're allies. We're allies to the crown. And if you want to talk about fair, well, you know what? When you served our people, and I asked the judge that, these people, did they serve the Confederacy? Did they serve the band council? Did they tell anybody that what yous are doing is wrong? No, they went in there bullying tactics and say, yous are wrong, the developers are right, and here's an injunction. And not only that, I listened to Mark Hill, who is the elected chief, and he said 2 years ago when he was in District 6, he was opposed to this land deal. Coincidentally, 2 years later, he is the chief, and now he should be dealing with this. If he didn't like what was going on 2 years ago, he certainly should be dealing with this matter today in a very respectful manner when it comes to our own people, because we're tired of the abuse. How can all this be legal when I feel like I was misrepresented? If Mark Hill was District 6 at the time, I don't recall anybody asking me how I felt about selling our lands. So there's a lot of misrepresentation, whether it's the developers, whether it's the Haldimand County, or whether it's the elected system. Playing against their own people. That's wrong.
You said you came here to make corrections. What are those corrections?
That's what I'm saying. We're not subjects. We're allies. There's a treaty relationship, and there is a protector duty. The responsibility for the police, the OPP, they swore an oath to the Crown to protect Her Majesty's interest. That's us. How dare they go against their own principles? I guess that's where our ancestors always said they speak with a forked tongue.